Hey everyone, I'm Alex, and welcome to this Marvel Snap Beginner's Guide on one of the best beginner decks in Marvel Snap, the Infinaut Control Deck. In this guide, I'll be taking you through this exact deck, explain each of the individual cards, how they synergize, why they're in the list, and I'm going to give you some good important tips as to how you can pilot this deck to great success. In fact, after this discussion, I'm going to be including a series of gameplay clips that were recorded live on Twitch TV that basically illustrate how this Infinaut Control Deck can be used to good effectiveness even against Pool 3 and above deck lists, because I basically played a beginner deck against people with near complete collections, and the results will surprise you. So anyways, I think this deck's a lot of fun. It is one of the more challenging beginner decks to pilot, but with that being said, it establishes some really interesting mechanics for you as a player to start learning so that you can provide kind of like interesting plays in the future with your deck building capabilities. So regardless, let's get started. Now, the real stars of this deck are Infinaut and Sunspot. Sunspot comes out as a 1/1, which I mean is low tempo because generally a 1/2 with an ability is the standard tempo for a 1-cost card. In this case, every time you at the end of each turn, you gain +1 for each unspent energy. So Sunspot has the ability to do a number of things. One, it helps unpunish those of you that don't play on curve. So whenever you don't play on curve, Sunspot absorbs the power and kind of makes it worth it in some way, right? But the important consideration for Sunspot is that in order to play the Infinaut, which is the strongest card currently in the game, is that you have to skip turn 5. So skipping turn 5 feels terrible. Turn 5 is an impactful turn. But when you skip turn 5, Sunspot gets 5 additional energy, right? Sunspot becomes a 1/6 at a minimum. And you probably higher because you probably, haven't been as efficient as you probably could have. So Sunspot ramps and makes that skipping turn 5 not feel so punishing. And then you play the Infinaut on turn 6. So the way this deck is actually played is you really only focus on 2 lanes. This is an extremely important consideration. In like the Kazoo deck that we talked about in another beginner's guide, you tend to contest all 3 lanes. In this deck, you have to make a very conscious choice as to, okay, which 2 locations am I contesting? Because one thing that this deck lacks is additional lane correction outside of Storm. When Storm floods a location, it nullifies whatever that location's ability was. But that's not the main reason why you run Storm. You run Storm in this deck not only for the lane and location correction, but also because it synergizes incredibly with both Jessica Jones, okay, because you can play Storm on turn 3, Jessica Jones on turn 4, and then basically allow Jessica Jones to solidify winning that lane. But also, you want to play Storm into the Sunspot location, because what you do is whenever you skip turns, Sunspot is like a ramping up kind of card. So although an opponent or you cannot play cards there, Sunspot continues to gain energy. Jessica Jones gets her +4. So like you actually impact value in this flooded location. So generally the way this is played is you play Sunspot into a location you want to win, you play Storm on turn 3, you play Jessica Jones on turn 4, you skip turn 5, you play the Infinaut into whatever other lane you believe you can cleanly win, and you've won 2 lanes, right? That is the core strategy. Now the rest of the cards, you're like, well, Alex, why do you have all these other cards then? You're basically saying that this deck is like a 5-card deck. Well, kind of, but there's other cards that play similar and kind of different roles, because you don't always get the card draw you want, and you're going to probably see in the clips where like, maybe I don't even play an Infinaut and still win, right? You got to kind of like roll with the punches, so to speak. Iceman, he's just a good tempo card that's disruptive in the opposing hand. You can really put any 1 cost that you like here. Korg is a good example. I think Iceman's a little stronger in this deck because you want to disrupt their tempo because you don't want them to out-tempo you on Storm, which I think is super valuable. You don't really care if they draw their combo card, but you'd rather them not be able to contest the Storm play as effectively. And then you have Nightcrawler, and Nightcrawler just gives you the ability to like move into the Storm location if you need 2 additional power, move out of the Storm location if you cleanly won it and they're wasting 2 additional power. Gives you the flexibility that allows you to kind of win games. Now, Uatu's important. Again, you can change this with Korg if you want, but Uatu is good because you kind of need to know in advance which location you want to focus in on. Now, of course, it becomes irrelevant with Storm, but if you have a location that really makes it hard to play into, Uatu is going to say, okay, hold on. We can get there with Nightcrawler. There's a good chance that they won't be able to. So we'll Storm this location and Infinaut this one, and we'll even have someone like Mr. Fantastic who reaches in and gets a 2+ value into a location they can't even play into. So Uatu helps you plan the way you approach this deck, which I think is super important because this deck is very macro-centric. It's very much about how you approach the gameplay as opposed to just throwing your cards down. You have to have a plan. And again, Angela, I've talked about extensively. Great card, best 2-drop in the game, probably going to get nerfed. But regardless, gets proc 2 every single time. Play her first into a lane. And then what you do is you play Nightcrawler on top, proc her +2, move Nightcrawler out, and then you get to play 3 additional cards on top of her. You always want Angela to generally be the first card in a lane. It also works well if you play Angela and then you play Storm on top of Angela, because then Angela becomes a 2/3, and then you play another card, she becomes a 2/6, and so on and so forth. So she becomes extremely powerful, extremely fast. Star-Lord, Alex, why do you have Star-Lord here? Star-Lord is one of the worst cards in the game. Kind of. The Guardians of the Galaxy cards that basically you have to predict the opponent's play in order to get additional value. They can be a little triggering because it's so often that you just get like, hey, cool, I played a 2/2. That's sad. But the realistic truth is that Star-Lord is a good card in conjunction with Storm, because what you do is you play Storm, the location becomes flooded, it's the last turn you can play here, so it's debating the opponent to playing there, and then so when you play someone like Star-Lord, you're expecting them to play into the flooded location to contest it because they don't want to just give it up. And then Star-Lord becomes a 2/5, which is insane value, which is the same value as Lizard, who you could play on turn 4 in conjunction with Star-Lord, and without the actual ongoing disadvantage. So that's why Star-Lord and Lizard are in the deck. Not only that, but Lizard's just like, he's just good tempo. Like, he's just a good tempo play. And if they zoo you 4 cards on Lizard, then you just play Infinaut on the other side and you just win. So it really does not have that much of an impact. Now, armor is important because what armor does is armor protects your Sunspot. It's important that you protect Sunspot because Sunspot can be killed by Killmonger, who's incredibly common at your bracket of MMR. Incredibly common at the beginner brackets. You have to protect Sunspot. Sunspot armor is key. That's the one. No, that's not armor. This is armor. Sunspot armor on turn 2, Storm on turn 3, whatever the hell you want on turn 4, Jessica Jones, Star-Lord, Lizard, whatever, right? It's so important that Sunspot is protected. And then finally, we talked about Mr. Fantastic giving the added reach. We know Jessica Jones is a high value tempo play with Storm. And it's the Infinaut once again. You've got to make sure that you identify, okay, I'm winning 2 lanes here. It's 2 lanes, the Storm lane and the Infinaut lane. How can I guarantee the win? The only risk you have with Infinaut is you have to pay attention to the turn initiative, meaning which player's name is kind of glowing, because that means that that person's name who's glowing, they go first. What that means to you is if you go first as Infinaut and you drop the Infinaut first and then they play Shang-Chi, your Infinaut gets destroyed. If you play second, you're immune to that because their Shang-Chi plays, he lands, he's like, hey, I'm a 4/3, LOL. And then your Infinaut just comes and reveals and nothing happens to him. So that's the only risk you kind of got to pay attention to with Infinaut. You really want to make sure that, you pay attention to the turn order just in case Shang-Chi comes out, because Shang-Chi is a legitimate factor here. And you might be thinking, Alex, but how do they even know I'm playing Infinaut? Well, there's a choreographed play here where you skip turn 5. And this should be something that you learn as well as a player. If someone's skipping turn 5, and they have a Sunspot, you could damn well guarantee they're playing Infinaut on turn 6. You could damn well guarantee it. So you just have to look there, even as a player yourself. You say, okay, hold on. He skipped turn 5. He's winning this lane. Can I gap 20 in any of the others? Or else he just wins. You're usually better saving your cubes if you don't have a tempo advantage. So learn to recognize that pattern of play. And anyways, I hope you guys enjoy these gameplay clips. They were so much fun to record live on Twitch. I love to see on Twitch. We have so much fun there. And these clips will illustrate how to play the deck, and most importantly, some really crazy highlights with me beating Pool 3 decks using a beginner deck. But it goes to showcase how good this deck actually is. I hope you enjoy. All right, beginner deck. Let's see what you got. We draw a card, Nova Roma. Nice. We get Iceman. At least we get a play here. We will Iceman into Nova Roma. It's a safe play. Clint. See, I would have liked to known that because, I think he plays here with Star-Lord. But we probably play Angela here. This is a 2/5. We don't get to proc Angela very often. He's going to play here, right? But we can play him next or on 4. We play the Angela. We have to commit to winning a lane, right? He's playing 3 cards, or is this Mysterio? It's Mysterio, I was going to say. This is most certainly the real Mysterio. That would have been a free Star-Lord play, by the way, but what are you going to do? So we Mr. Fantastic. Now, the Storm in this situation is a little awkward. He plays Juggernaut. Okay. Still get value there. We proc the Angela. That's not the best play by him, honestly. And I think we do this. I think it's Sunspot that goes here, not Lizard. Lizard's pretty good. Does he put 4 cards here? I think we do this. We guarantee this. Yeah, I think we guarantee this. He's gonna go. He's gonna do. I know. He's gonna play an additional card. Storlord picks that up. He becomes a 5. We proc the Angela, and then the Sunspot comes out as well. Is this Drax? It's Bishop, so he has some ramp ability here, but it's not going to be enough. We need to pull our Infinaut here to really, and we do. So what we do here is we snap, we skip our turn, and we play Infinaut next turn. And we have to play into Nova Roma. There's no way. I'm playing Infinaut into Danger Room, folks. I don't like to live that dangerously. That would be something else. But Clint's going to be one for sure. He should play here, recognizing I'm playing Infinaut and not going to want to play into Danger Room. He does commit 3 cards there. It's Angela, and it's Kingpin, which means I have to play here, because if he plays something like an Arrow, then I get absolutely destroyed. But I don't think he has a turn 6 play that's going to gap this. There's a chance, but this is how the deck works. If Mr. Fantastic was mid, it'd be a little more preferred. He does do Killmonger, which does take out a couple cards here, but we still win Clint. Killmonger gets destroyed, so we are winning the Danger Room as well. He Polarises. Oh, that's actually a spicy play. We ultimately tie the middle lane. We win the right. No, he wins mid because of the Bishop play, but I don't think it's enough, because we're still going to have enough value. It is the fake illusion on the right side, and we ultimately get the win. That was quite the turn 6, and that is what makes Marvel Snap so exciting, because like you really can't predict plays like that. That was amazing, and like you're seeing a ton of pool 3 cards here. You see Juggernaut, right? I don't even have yet. You have Kingpin. Like there's so many pool 3 cards here that they're using against us, and at the end of the day, it still comes down to the fact that we were able to win with a beginner deck. I'm telling you guys, it's entirely possible. All right, let's win this game. Iceman, lead us on the path to this beginner deck wisdom. Black, so he's playing that's a great variant, by the way. So he's playing a discard deck. Why else would he have Black Cat? We got Washington, D.C. What we do here is we play Lizard here onto this location here. If he's going to play, I imagine he's playing into Washington, D.C. We're going to roll the dice. I don't think he plays here, because it really makes no sense, because Washington, D.C. is very low impact. So yeah, he plays Invisible Woman. We do not have an appropriate counter here, with the exception of Storm. With Storm, that actually worked out well for us. So with Storm, we blow up this location, so we can't play here with Invisible Woman. I am willing to snap here, because we can play Jessica Jones into this location after, and it makes it very hard. We could even Angela's Sunspot, but Jessica Jones on curve is a pretty big spike in power. So he plays on the right. We Storm, so like this Invisible Woman's effectively useless here. What's he playing on the left, I meant? So he plays Lady Sif, he hits the Infinaut, but he's not going to be able to take advantage of this Invisible Woman, because we are going to absolutely... Wait a minute. I believe that Mr. Fantastic gives us a better chance to win. No, he doesn't. Yes, he does. And this Sunspot has to come out. We do this. We skip this next turn. We drop Infinaut. This is the correct play. Now, he has his own Infinaut, but what he will not have is the Sunspot, and he won't have the Miniaturized Lab one. Now, we don't have Infinaut in our hand, so we have a 25% chance to pull it here, which is big sad. But we got to play that game. We got to play the game. Pull the Infinaut. You know what, folks? Sometimes you get a little lucky, and you have to accept that. You just have to accept that sometimes you're lucky. What we have to do, there's only one card here. Even though I think he actually gives this lane away, I believe he plays the Hela here, but I still think we have to gap this. I kind of wish this lane was a little stronger and I had another unit here, but regardless, we play the Infinaut on this location here. I think he has to play Hela here and hope that the Infinaut lands somewhere else. So I win this location, he wins, he plays Hela, it's Infinaut there, and it's Black Cat, but it's not enough. So we just simply win. So he played a discard deck pool 3, we played a beginner's deck pool 1, and we're the ones that get the win. We got a little lucky with that Infinaut pull, but I'll take it any day of the week. 5 energy this turn, eh? Do we pull Infinaut here? No. Well, I do think he plays... Okay, hold on. Let's try and play smart here. We dump our hand. I'm expecting he's playing into Project Pegasus. You know what? Maybe he doesn't. Let's go all in on Project Pegasus for the memes. Let's go. He plays one. Oh, yes. Is this Mysterio, by the way? Okay, we land. Got him. I love that sound. So we got a little lucky. I think this... Is this Mysterio or is he actually playing 3 cards wide? Okay, he played Thor, so he's playing wide. He's playing wide. And Medusa! I thought I was the only one playing Medusa. Wow. That's exciting. Oh, draw 2 cards. That works out for us. What we do here is we play Nightcrawler here. We proc the Angela, and then we're going to storm that area and basically make... I mean, he could... We have to beat him by at least Mjolnir's 6. Because he can get buffed by Mjolnir, even though Storm has locked the lane. But I think this is pretty hard now because now he's at 17, 19. Scarlet Witch. Okay. Lol. Well, that gives the Infinaut a free game there. What we're going to do here is we're going to go into this location. We probably give mid and just put Infinaut there eventually, but we really do run into Project Pegasus. Does he start playing here, though? He plays a card. We storm it.
Wind, aid my hand.
He has to commit here with a pretty big card. 21's enough. So yeah, like that doesn't bother me at all. He plays Mjolnir there.
Mjolnir, to me.
I think he should have held that. I mean, he's going to lose that lane now. Turn 4. We don't have Sunspots. We have to play here. I think we play Armor here and Uatu here. The reason for this is because it protects the Infinaut from getting Shang-Chi'd. Because when we skip turn 5, we kind of signal that we're playing Infinaut. He plays Demon there, so he's kind of committing to it. We win that location, but now we have Infinaut. Now, without Sunspot, like we're kind of memeing here a bit. The nice thing is, though, it's very unlikely that he really can contend with us. If he plays Hobgoblin here, we play Infinaut there. What are the chances that he really can, like, hit us with enough value to counter the Infinaut? Jane Foster comes out, so now it's kind of a wild card. We don't really know. That was just pure value as well. So I think we just go mid and win here. Skipping turn 5 without Sunspot in play feels really bad. But ultimately, this is going to be a 23 card play, 23 power play. And I think he expects me to play right. He's lost the left, and I'm playing Infinaut. Skipping that turn 5 was just a terrible play. Yeah, he's gone. He was waiting for me to retreat.
Victory.
He was absolutely waiting for me to retreat. I recognize that. Like, obviously, skipping turn 5 with Sunspot in your hand feels awful. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Now, there is the argument that you can play Jessica Jones on 5, play Sunspot on 6, and then you absorb all that extra mana, and he's basically a, you know, a 6 power play. But ideally, I think we needed the Infinaut for the Monster Metropolis. All right, Uatu, thank you very much. I appreciate your service. We got ourselves a Tillion. We have ourselves the Vault. Space Throne. Gotta know not to play there. Or, I mean, we throw Sunspot there and ramp him, but I don't think we do that. I think what we do here is we actually put Sunspot here. Do we put Sunspot there? Yeah, because we have to put Sunspot there because we're not going to be able to play Infinaut there. So knowing that actually helps us a lot, to be honest with you. We could even Jessica Jones here, by the way. She's strong enough that it's enough value that it's really hard for them. We also play Lizard mid. I think that's worth it. We're also not going to have Jessica Jones because of this damn Attillion. He played that in the wrong order. I get playing on tempo, but you really want to Angela into Nightcrawler, or Nightcrawler into the Angela. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to Storm here because it makes us so that we're guaranteed that win. If we pull Infinaut, he plays a card there.
Wind, aid my hand.
It's Storm.
Wind, aid
So he storms that location. Well, I storm this one. What are we willing to do here? Do I go on this with Star-Lord? I mean, I could play Jessica Jones there, but really, I'm banking on Infinaut. But Jessica Jones here's an 8. The Sunspot's going to run on turn 5. I think I do this. I think this is the correct play. Even though we're not banking on Infinaut at all, he moves the Nightcrawler over. That's not enough. He Daredevils. That's not impactful to us at all. He Korgs, which sucks because now it reduces our chance to pull the Infinaut, actually. But now we win both these lanes. That was not the play I expected from him, unless, of course, he has a major play on his hands. We just pulled the rock. Now we skip the turn. We do not have Infinaut, so we cannot snap. Even though there's flooded locations here, he has a lot of ways to, like, for instance, he could play a, I mean, even if he plays Doom here, he cannot win both locations because it's not going to be enough. We did pull Infinaut, we snap. Because now, we actually do gap this by 1. But not really, because Angela will ultimately kind of win. Because she'll proc on whatever we play. I might be safer, honestly, to run the Sunspot, but we'll play the Infinaut here anyways. He's not going to skip the turn, though, right? Let me think here. He has 11. I have to gap 8. That's 19. This is 20. He plays a card. It jumps up. I wait. I skip this turn and allow Sunspot. There's no point in playing the Infinaut here because if he plays any card, even if it's a rock, his Angela will proc and he's gone. So like, I think he recognized that he was in trouble. The Hobgoblin play was great on his behalf because it really made it difficult for me to make a play in that lane, even with Infinaut. But all I could really do is just make sure that no matter what happened, he was not going to win either of these 2 lanes. I mean, this example doesn't show you the Infinaut being played, but it shows the versatility of the deck overall. Alrighty, we got our Sunspot opening hand. You know that's exciting. Come on, draw Uatu so I can see what's going on here. Ah, it's armor. Oh, it's Uatu! Ask and you shall receive. Atlantis. Baxter Building. I mean, as much as I want to throw Sunspot here into Atlantis, I also recognize that I really do have to combo Sunspot with the Storm. That's really the combo that makes all the difference. I can play him here and debate this guy and then play Storm on top of him. Or I can play him in the Baxter Building. But if I play Infinaut there, I kind of guarantee an interesting win. So does Atlantis. But both of these are kind of useful here for us. But ultimately, I do think I want to get rid of Baxter Building because I think that Baxter Building has a chance to be more problematic than anything else. So he plays the Hood. He's getting a demon here. It's Atlantis, as we know. Now, this is a little awkward, but what I think we do is I think we play Armor to prevent our Sunspot from being destroyed. I mean, no, we don't have to. We actually probably play Lizard here because we want to Storm if we get the chance. If Storm doesn't come, because, like, he has to Shang-Chi us on turn 4, and his Sunspot won't even be big enough. So, it looks like we're not gonna have that kind of luck here. He's gonna definitely play a card here. He's gonna try and destroy this. I play Armor and Uatu here, just to kind of tilt this guy out a little bit. And I actually reveal first. So, I play the Armor. If this is Carnage, he is big sad. It's Sabretooth, but he can't destroy any of these cards now. I'm gonna snap on him. I play... So I have Infinaut and I have Jessica Jones. He can't destroy these cards. So what I do is I do this. I play Jessica Jones here. I definitely win this lane. Unless he can play Destroyer here. And then he could win. But like Bucky Barnes is not going to proc. He does have the Demon. But Jessica Jones is going to offset the Demon. No one's going to beat Infinaut mid on Atlantis. Not even no more. He's playing Nova, so this is mostly, he plays Venom, he destroys, so he's trying to buff these guys up a little bit, but he's not going to be able to destroy them. Is he going to try and do a Zola play here? We skip this turn. This is very classic Sunspot here. We skip the turn. He ramps to a 6. He's not going to be able to fill this lane against Lizard, so Lizard's a 2-5. We play Infinaut mid. This is a straightforward win. I expect this guy to leave. I expect this guy to retreat because we are absolutely out-tempoing him in every regard. And I mean, Armor here is probably the MVP of the play because he really makes this completely non-consequential. Because he wanted to use Sabretooth with Venom because Sabretooth would have given the value to Venom and then gone back to the hand for free. We prevented that from happening, so he had a very subpar Venom play. This guy's game is done. He has to recognize that his game is done. Even if he plays Destroyer mid, which he does, I mean, he can't have Destroyer with Venom. I imagine this is a Zola deck, where he wanted Venom to get massive, and then he wanted to Zola on top of the Venom, but he's going a bunch of cards. He plays the Demon, he's still losing. He plays Mysterios. I mean, okay. But I still win. It's very unlikely that this is the real Mysterio. he's gone. Either way, we would have won that game, I think. We had some choices as to which direction we played, but knowing that we skipped the turn and we have an Infinaut that's a 20, he recognized that there was no play he had, especially with Atlantis being what it was, right? He was going to beat me in Atlantis, and maybe I go Baxter building and to ensure that there's no way that Nova Roma gets messed up. But realistically, I think that would have been a very clean win, and he was right to retreat. We got Central Park Squirrels coming out, Project Pegasus on the next turn, and Baxter building. We are going to throw down your boy Iceman. Okay. Bleed, got rid of Hell Cow. I actually kind of misplayed. I could have just played Infinaut here, but I kind of don't want him to know that I have Infinaut yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this. He actually plays here with Morbius, which is so bad because he can actually ramp. So he's playing a Dracula discard deck. This Storm play is very unfortunate now, because this Morbius is going to be able to be extremely problematic for us. We need Sunspot right now. So we do not get Sunspot. So we have no proper recourse here. So we actually lose this lane. I probably play Nightcrawler, Uatu mid. Yeah, we just got absolutely wrecked. Yeah, this is big trouble for us because any cards he discards is going to ramp up. So now we're in a situation where we play Sunspot here. We skip this turn. We skip the next turn. And then we Infinaut into Baxter building. So he's going to try and ramp up Apocalypse here. He's not playing Hela. So the Morbius might not ramp all the way. We skip this turn. So we have to remember that Dracula is going to proc an additional discard here. So he Moon Knights, he hits the armor, he hits his Black Bolt. He does not hit his Apocalypse. So this is tied, we're winning here, we snap, and we go Infinaut. We have to stay here. Unfortunately, I made a mistake. Nightcrawler, okay, I made a mistake. Nightcrawler should be over here. Why? Because with Dracula, he's guaranteed to proc. I did not expect him to play that. What? Okay, I mean, he lost, but he's guaranteed to get an additional discard, so he was gonna win that lane regardless, and putting additional power mid would have been beneficial, so I actually misplayed that last turn. Nightcrawler should be here, but ultimately we do win because he made an interesting choice there, because remember, with Dracula, he discards the card again. If he clears his hand, that means that Apocalypse gets an additional 4 power, which in this case wouldn't have made all the difference, but I mean, it adds up eventually.